basically the significance of Chanuka, which is the confrontation between the Torah of Hashem and Greek culture. So let us go to the original sources. And we'll begin from what it says in chapter 9 of Bereshit. If we look there, the Jerusalem Bible is also on page 9. So we read, after the deluge, verse 18, the sons of Noah went out from the ark, Shem, Ham, and Yefet. And Ham is the father of Canaan. These are the three sons of Noah, and with them was the whole earth overspread. And Noah became a man of the earth, and he planted a vineyard to celebrate the return of life on the earth. And he drank of the wine and was drunk. And he was uncovered within his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his two brothers outside. Shem and Yefet took the garment and laid it upon both their shoulders and went backwards and covered the nakedness of their father. And the face threw backwards. They saw not their father's nakedness. And Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done to him. And he said, Cursed be Canaan, the servant of servants shall he be to his brothers. He said, Blessed is Hashem, the God of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. God shall enlarge Yefet, or develop his beauty, and she shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. Very cryptic passage, but we can understand it best that with the whole of the Tanakh, the unity, and this introduction to the aftermath of the deluge, which demonstrated that mankind cannot survive through the great revelation which was given to Adam, Adam Arishon, that this world could be a Gan Eden. But unfortunately, he didn't live up to that level, as a result of which he's taken out of Gan Eden, and the history of man was one which became lower and lower. It was murder, corruption, and the whole earth was filled with Hamas, with social violence and also sexual immorality, zanut, spread over mankind until they no longer became a human species, but became the lowest of the animal species, we could say. Except for Noah. He was an exception. And that's where he survived. And in this new earth, the brave new world which was given to Noah after the deluge, he saw that his three sons were not living so much in accordance with the Noahide code which he'd been given. Hashem revealed to him the Noahide code explicitly in the previous chapters of Parsha of Noah. And blessing was given to Noah and his descendants, and they divided into three groups. We can even say Yefet really means beauty, Yofi, the whole of it's enough. Shem is the ultimate purpose, the real name. You can even call it the way of the human mind. Chom means there. That means giving something a position in space. And Shem means giving something a defined position in the compartments of the mind. The person really knows what is the essence of the different things that he experiences and what is their purpose. So Shem develops this concept. Baruch Hashem Elokei Shem. He knows the purpose of life is to be a moral human being who fulfills the divine image that he's been given. Yavta Elokim Liyefes. And there's another part in the human being which searches for harmony and beauty, which can be an opening to appreciate the power of Elokim, but doesn't reach the power of Hashem. It says Baruch Hashem, the effort of Hashem to get a concept of the transcendental God who's above nature. That became the special inheritance of the people who would become the kingdom of priests and the holy nation, which existed within Shem. But Ham, they demonstrate the more animalistic passions of the human being, which have to subject themselves to the higher moral level of Shem, and at least to the level of Yavta Elokim Liyefes. That means at least they should try to have a harmonious social life as outlined in the Noahide Code. To reach the level of closeness to the divine God who reveals himself in prophecies, and where the human soul can reach that highest level, it was left to remain with Shem. And Shem himself, in fact, developed a place where he's taught the Noahide Code in all its details, because that came as a revelation to Noah. And although Shem wasn't on the level of Noah himself, then he accepted the Noahide Code as the absolute code given by Hashem. Baruch Hashem Elokei Shem. The question is, in this description, it mentions Ham, who behaved in an immoral manner, which should not fit in with the Noahide Code. The animalistic passions, the libido, led him astray. There are different explanations, what he was guilty of. Some say castration, some say even to uncover the nakedness was a perversion of the real purpose of the reproductive instinct given to the human being. But it mentions Canaan. Why does it mention Canaan? This is already foreboding. Canaan became more corrupt than Ham himself. The Canaanites, we know from later texts in the Chumash, were a completely depraved group. Canaan also means those who lie low, the Hikana. So you know that scholars want to say that's the significance that is, that they lived on the coast of the Mediterranean. But the deeper interpretation is they were on the lowest level of the divine image, which they more or less destroyed through their deprivation, their perversions of the instinct of the human being. And why is this mentioned? To explain why afterwards the people who would really fulfill the Noahide Code and spread it, Shem, he fulfilled it, but didn't spread it. He taught it in his place, Malkitzed Mir Shalem. Avraham Avinu went further. He spread it far and wide, because he represents the power of Chesed, which is so important for the spreading of the teaching of Hashem. And he developed the Noach HaKod to its highest level, as a result of which Hashem said afterwards to Abraham, don't stay in Mesopotamia, where you find such enormous opposition, even from your parents, who had a factory to produce idols, but even Nimrod, the head of the Mesopotamian Sumerian Empire, wanted to kill him. He was saved. So Hashem said, you go to Canaan, the land which I will show you. Why? Because that was the most depraved land. And in order to heal mankind, allow them to survive, it was important that he should do his best to bring them to Teshuvah. But if they don't do Teshuvah, instead they go with a sinful manner, they have to be destroyed, as happened with Sodom and Amorah. And Avraham Avinu reached such a high level that Hashem already gave him a prophecy, from you will come that nation that will transform the lowest level of human society, and in that same place transform it to the highest level. That's the concept of Canaan. That's what it means to Canaan here. So what is the position in this premonition, which was prophetic, of Noach concerning his three sons? And what is the significance? So the Abarbanel already discusses this and says, well, there are three basic instincts of the human being. One is the animalistic instinct, the Nefesh HaBahamid, which brings a person cham, to passion, to anger, to exceeding, sometimes limitless immorality. So it can also destroy a person's attitude to his fellow man, to transform his high level to the lowest level, and create complete chaos in society, as happened before the deluge, on account of which the deluge came. So therefore, the place of Yefet, which is a trend within the human being and within the human society, not on the highest level, as exemplified by Hashem, which takes as the highest level of the human being to live in the image of God, who's created the world and man, and to be aware of his presence, but at least to recognize the God of nature, that nature expresses the concept of harmony and beauty, and the power of beauty can even lead a person to understand Elokim, and that the higher levels of Greek culture brought man to that level, to recognize him. So this is Yaft Elokim Leyefes. So therefore there's a statement made here in the Mishnah in Megillah. Most remarkable statement. People don't always realize this. The Mishnah says that the books of the Tanakh and those which have to do with writing the Tefillin and Mezuzah. What's the difference? That the books of the Tanakh can be written in any language. Tefillin and Mezuzot have to be written in the script which is called K'tav Ashuri, the square script in which the Sefer Torah is written. But you can write the rest of the books also in other languages. But Tefillin and Mezuzot have to be written in what's called the Assyrian, or the square script. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel says, however, that the other books of the Tanakh should not be written in any other language to fulfill the duty of learning Torah or reading the Torah in public, but they may all be written in Greek. There's no discussion. The Gemara doesn't mean Greek characters, it doesn't mean the Greek language. No discussion. And the halacha is like Reb Shimon ben Gamliel. Not in other languages, can't be Yotze mitzvah, but in Greek you can. In the Chalmi it says Greek is the language of beauty. And the source for this is this pasuk, Yaft Elokim leyefes, the Gemara says in Megillah, Yaft Yefuto, Shel Yavan will be B'olei Shem. Because V'ishkon B'olei Shem. That means even Greek can bring the Shekhinah into the tents of Shem. Which is, the Torah, the language of Shem is Hebrew, Ashuret. But if you translate it to Greek, Yotze. According to many, the halacha is like a Shimon ben Gamliel. It's a good discussion in the Gemara. So, what lies behind this? We can ask. It teaches us that there's great value in the better parts of Greek civilization. And to understand this more deeply, that we know that Alexander the Great, who was a close disciple to Aristotle, who was in turn was influenced by Plato and Socrates. So these three philosophers, amongst others, they did not feel, as is, for example, exemplified by another Greek philosopher, Protagoras, is that man is the measure of all things. In other words, there are many Greek philosophers who say it's only man who can develop true knowledge and truth. He's the measure whereby we can understand the whole world, through the human mind. And this is reflected a bit in the Tower of Babel, which came after the description of the Noahide Code and the development of the three sons who produce also three different groups. And we know that Nimrod, he took upon himself the name Nase Lanu Shem. Let's make a name for ourselves. Let us make man the measure of all things. That's Protagoras. But Aristotle especially, he believed also in the God of nature. When he accepted nature as an absolute existence, and God as an absolute existence. He says, God is the one who lies, in other words, there's a spiritual power, one spiritual power, that lies behind all aspects of nature. But the basic motivation of all this was that's the way he understood harmony. In fact, it's reflected in what many modern scientists say, including Einstein, says my conception of God is a person who produces harmony in nature, because the more that science has developed, basing itself on Greek foundations primarily, the discovery keeps on increasing to show the harmony that exists in the world around us. So therefore there must be a mind of God behind it all. I'm sorry, I have to interrupt. Just excuse me. I have a problem with digestion, so I don't know if I can continue.